remember that they're changing my voice, and they're trying to make it so that I rush through my videos. In a lot of videos, you can tell that I've been fumed. The symptoms are not consistent with bipolar disorder, but with being fumed, especially when you hear that kind of sound. It sounds like, it sounds like basically fumes have been messing up my throat and my lungs. Okay, that is a definitive symptom, just like the burning in my eyes and in my mouth and in my throat. Okay, and this is something that's been going on for quite some time, so their goal must be to change my form, my look, and my sound, and my behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this video there, even though it might sound a little hard to listen to, because you need to understand that this is real. And it probably will change my voice to cover it up, but who knows. They hack my phone and edit pics and more. Most of the sound of my voice is what they change, right? So they edit my pictures and my images to try to make it so I look gayish. And you see the same thing with the various artists like Tupac Shakur. Those people who are my age, they see the signs. They know that Tupac didn't look like the pictures that they show. They make it so he looks like more like a Jew-Pac, right? A gay Jew-Pac instead of Tupac, right? A gay crypto Jew-Pac, right? Okay. Again, no offense to anybody. These are just the facts. Point number 17, they try to make it so I walk, talk, and act gay as, they're trying to manipulate things and trying to confuse you about my look and so on and so forth. They also sexually harass me at the same time. They're trying to change my look, my walk, my talk, what have you. And it's clear they're trying to pressure me to be gay, and they're trying to kind of, use technology to make it so I seem gay. And that's key that you understand that. Point number 18. They also fume my family. My family plays stupid about it. Okay, they're kind of older. My dad's 78 years old. He's been a brain surgeon for like 44 years or something. And they've been financially suppressing us and persecuting us the whole time. And it makes it clear that, people in America, people in the world who are rich in 2023, really since, anyone can remember, they're not good people, right? People who are good people are sabotaged, okay? That's why the Bible says all who wish to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted, and blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And in the same chapter, that Matthew 5, it says, rejoice when they persecute you, because that's how they treated the prophets, the true prophets before you, okay? So that's the formula that everyone knew in Greco-Roman culture, and it continues in this kind of global Babylonian Greco-Roman culture that dominates the world. The transnational corporations, the corporate partnerships, the Freemasons, the social clubs, the Club of Rome. Okay, for people, a lot of these clubs like the Bilderbergs, their stated argument is that they're a business club, right? They're for social engineering, they're for business partnerships and so on and so forth, and for them to kind of become closer to each other while they build things in the future. It's like Rockefeller, right? The Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, okay, the Soros Open Society Foundation. It's for social engineering. It's not a conspiracy theory. They admit this. And it's crazy that people try to blur that with crazy talk about, things that aren't believable and so on and so forth. Okay. So my next point, point number 19, psychiatrists have a long history of the political abuse of psychiatry, which includes playing stupid about the persecution of political dissidents. It got so bad that a gentleman named Rosenhan, did an experiment called the Rosenhan experiment, where he sent people into the psychiatric facilities who claimed to be mentally ill, and they were all misdiagnosed. They challenged them to do it again, and they failed to prove them wrong. And it basically showed that psychiatrists don't know what they're talking about when it comes to schizophrenia, and which is the most serious of the mental disorders. So if they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the most serious of mental disorders, it's safe to say that they basically don't know what they're talking about. Okay, now you use the example of if you hit someone in the head with a hammer, you'll reduce their symptoms of mental illness too. But is it curing them? Okay, and no. And it's even called treatment, right? Treatment, as in mentality, ment as in the word mental, meaning mind. Okay, ment meaning mind, like in the word mental and mentality. And we also see the word therapist is the rapist, right? Therapist. Why is it spelled that way? And why is psychiatry, right, named after Psyche, who's a deity who's put in a trance, who's raped by all the Greco-Roman deities, especially Pan, whose name means all for all the Greco-Roman deities. Pretty straightforward. And Zeus, who's the king of all the Greco-Roman rapists, okay, he changes form and rapes all kinds of people in various myths, and it's like a formula for raping people, where people apply the figurative interpretation in various ways, and we see it used to this day all over the world. Okay, I'll debate anybody on any of these points anytime they want. Everyone knows that I'm right by now, and they should know the truth when they hear it. If they don't, they're probably not too smart. Point number 20. Wars are fought to enforce these things that I've been talking about: scientific racism, social Darwinism, expansionism, nation building, manifest destiny kind of thinking, neocolonialism, sexual control, monetary control, continentalism, basically ideas that have to do with worldwide white supremacy and using the nation and using different ideas like eugenics to try to sell white supremacy in various packages to various groups, right? So the rock and roll guy, the Trump fan, the Klan, they all have slightly different ideas of what white supremacy they want to spread. Okay, the social clubs, the fraternities, the royals, they all want white supremacy to spread, and they've made it so, even in China, the Communist Party is the ruling party, right? And that's an idea that comes from Germany, right? Marx and Engels, okay? And they were, kind of these kind of Jewish-looking German guys who came up with communism for the purpose of social control and social engineering and so on and so forth. And their stated argument is they wanted to meet halfway with the capitalists, okay? And they got the idea from a guy named Hegel, where a lot of conspiracy theorists talk about the Hegelian principle. It's actually a valid idea, which has to do with, you create two opposing forces and then they meet halfway, and that's the original design. And you say, oh, it's a compromise. You do all kinds of stuff, distraction, illusion, misdirection, all kinds of silly Masonic kind of magic tricks along the way, and that's basically what's going on here. Okay, so point number 21, occult witchcraft, okay, is very popular these days, right? It's derived from Circe, a deity of witchcraft in Greco-Roman culture, Hecate, Hebe, and all kinds of, witches, all kinds of places, and it's ultimately derived from kind of African voodoo-like cults that very much influenced Greece and Rome, right? That's why African witchcraft in some places, is called juju, and you get Jupiter and Juno as the main deities of Rome, right? You get the Jew, and Jew, pit, ear, and Juno, right? And juju, meaning plaything because it's childish, and witchcraft, okay? And they talk about your juju like a libido. So you need to get your juju up, right? Your success and your sexual success, especially, your kind of sexual deity of success and financial success, and this kind of connection. We see all these corporations talking about sexual power these days and how they wield it, and they're LGBT guys, and it's way out of control, and it's way sick, and they should have never done it in the first place. Okay. Point number 22. Okay, gay in the Urban Dictionary means pointless and stupid. No offense to the LGBT community. That's the definition I've come up with. I posted it on my YouTube channels in the past. Okay, and that's because anyone with a logical mind knows what they're doing is stupid and pointless. And so it's important to note that the people doing this know that because they're part of the networks that defined gay in the Urban Dictionary to mean stupid and pointless. Again, no offense to anybody. Also, they believe in the idea of use, confuse, and abuse. Okay, and con man and a confidence man, right? People are empowered, they're confused about what's going on, they're quote-unquote empowered when they're not really empowered, they're confused about what's going on, and they're being used and abused, right? Use, confuse, and abuse, rhyme and reason. Write that down, it's more important than you think. Point number 24. Okay, they want people to blame people other than the masses of rich white Jew and LGBT people and their allies, who are obviously responsible. I mean, there's 18 million people in America who are white, Jewish, or LGBT-ish. They're worth more than $1 million, and lots of them are in social clubs, corporate networks, what have you. I mean, that like tells a story already, that obviously these people work together. It's a concerted effort. It's a collaboration, and they have their way. What the hell do you think politics is, right? It's a bunch of people working together who have commonalities, and racial commonalities is such a big one that when people campaign, they talk about how they're going to appeal to different racial demographics. They say, how do we appeal to the Mexican community, the black community, the white community, right? And long ago, they even used to be more than that. They say the Irish community, the Polish, they get all ethnic about it. Also, I speak quickly because they hack my phone and make it so there's even less room, less memory on my phone, and I'm limited to 10 minutes on TikTok. So they try to make it so I sound bipolar and manic and things like that, so they can play stupid and get other people to play stupid. And if it ever went to court to say, hey, that's consistent with bipolar disorder and this is my expert testimony, I mean, it is see-through and it is laughable. Compare that to 23 witnesses and the symptoms I've discussed and thousands of valid sources and thousands of videos over the years and a college degree. even if I was bipolar, it doesn't mean that I'm wrong about the things that I'm saying, and it doesn't mean that I'm not being fumed.